Hello. Are you ready to join in and read along with me? Yes? Then let's begin. When you hear this sound, turn the page. Stories Jesus told. The sower and the seed. Early one morning, a sower filled his basket with seeds and went to his field to sow them. Some seeds fell by the road, and the birds ate them. Some seeds fell on stony ground and did not grow. Some landed in a thorny bush beside the field. The sharp thorns choked the plants that grew from the seeds, and they died. But the sower went on sowing the seeds until his basket was empty, and the rest of his seeds fell on ground that was good. These tiny seeds grew and grew into a field of lovely golden corn. The sower was pleased, and joy filled his heart. The lost sheep. A good shepherd cares for every one of his sheep. There was once a shepherd who always made sure his sheep were safe from a hungry wolf. One night, this good shepherd counted his sheep as usual, but was dismayed to find there was one missing. One of his sheep was lost. The stars were bright in the night sky as the shepherd began his search. But the lost sheep was nowhere to be seen. When he heard a wolf howl, the shepherd was afraid, but he kept searching, and eventually the lost sheep was found, and he carried it home. The shepherd was very tired from searching all night, but he was happy that his lost sheep was safe. The Good Samaritan. One day, a weary traveller was riding along a lonely road when suddenly fierce robbers sprang at him from behind a bush. The robbers dragged the traveller from his donkey and took everything he had, even his clothes. The traveller lay half dead at the roadside, with the hot sun beating down on him. Before long, two people came by on the road, a priest on a fine horse and another man on a camel. Both men were religious, but they looked the other way when they saw the poor wounded traveller and hurried on. Later that day, along came another man on a donkey. This man was a Samaritan. He stopped and went to help the dying traveller. He gave him water to drink and bound up his wounds before lifting him onto his donkey and taking him to a nearby inn. "Look after this poor traveller," said the Samaritan to the innkeeper. "Here is some money to pay for his care. If you spend more, I will repay you on my return." "I will do as you say," said the innkeeper, wishing that all men had kind hearts like the Samaritan had. The King and the Cruel Servant. There was once a powerful king who lived in a fine palace. One day, the king asked a trusted servant to pay back some money that the servant had borrowed from him. "You must pay back what you owe," said the king, "or you will go to prison." "I cannot," cried the servant, falling on his knees. "I have a wife and 2 children to look after." The king was moved to pity as the servant begged for forgiveness. "I forgive you," he said at last, "and you need not pay back the money." Relieved, the servant left the palace. But at the palace gates, who should he meet but a young stable boy who owed him some money. "Stop!" shouted the servant. "You must pay back your debt." "I cannot pay you," said the stable boy tearfully. "Please forgive me. My dear mother is sick, and I spent the money taking care of her." "I won't forgive you," cried the cruel servant. "Never!" And he told the soldiers to put the stable boy in prison. The next day, the king sent for the cruel servant. "I showed you mercy," he said in a stern voice. "I forgave you, but you, in your turn, did not forgive that poor stable boy." And the king ordered his soldiers to throw the cruel servant into one of the deepest dungeons in his palace to teach him a lesson. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Now it's your turn to join in.